Happy Wednesday, everyone. And Vidya, if you're ready, we can get started.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me, Shrikant? Can you hear me?
Uh,
Sounds
yeah, I
good,
can hear
Vidya.
you and I can see your screen. Yeah, loud and clear. Go for it.
Okay. Good morning and good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. I know there was a little bit of a gap between the two partner calls, but yeah, we went through some rough phase. So today, uh, the week that was, right? So we recently experienced performance issues with our product, and that impacted multiple partners. But truly, as part of our commitment to transparency and continuous improvement, we conducted a thorough investigation to understand what happened and ensure we prevent such incidents in the future. So I want to take some time today to go over it. Please drop your questions on chat, and any feedback, please feel free to let us know. So this graph shows the CPU usage of our database. On a normal average day, it is going to be just hitting close to it's a 6-core CPU, close to, it hits around 120%. But on November 20th, specifically, we saw a sudden spike in the CPU, and the overall slowness and number of failed requests continue to increase, right? So this was around November 20th. Once we did see this problem, the team reviewed all the code changes. The previous week, we went through a process of auto replication, which is something where we have been driving from partners to move from V3 to V4. So the auto replication was triggered around November 16th. So we went and checked as to whether there was a huge spike in the number of agents, which didn't seem so. Then we checked any APIs which were causing issues. None were spotted. We also worked with a cloud provider if they did any backend upgrades to the database which caused the issue. That came as a negative. And then, of course, we did a bunch of optimization and caching, and then we thought we got to a reasonable state. So it was a little quiet from November 21st to 29th. Surely it was a Thanksgiving weekend, but of course, there were weekdays in that. And we just thought it was chugging along. And this was it, right? So till November 30th, we seemed okay. And then the rampage. So if you see here, around December 1st, we just saw the CPU utilization using all the cores. And at that point, we moved our databases from 8-core to 12-core. But even if we moved that, the 12 cores got saturated. And unfortunately, the CPU never dropped. It was at consistently, the 2x and 3x levels, what it was supposed to be. So at this point, what next, right? The entire team was all hands on deck. The CTO, everybody was everybody was in the middle of the night, and we were thinking, or what next? So the first thing we did is process elimination, right? So we took process by process. We identified if there is a process which is kind of creating this trouble. And then we did find that there were read-write locks which were excessive. But the unfortunate part is the pgstat, which is monitoring for the Postgres, failed to report on the metrics, as it just couldn't get the metrics under this load. So at this point, it was you partners under stress, the system under stress, and definitely our engineers were under a lot of stress. Next, what did we do? So we first eliminated the read-write locks. So for this, what we did was we created a read replica. We made application changes to route all the API read requests to the read replica. So this took a while, right? It took hours to sync, and then we had to go live, and we were in constant touch with the cloud provider to make sure the data and the security of the systems were intact. So this took time. But once that was done, we were able to have the system which was responding. And of course, the pgstat monitoring came back to normal, and we could start monitoring the database stats better. At this point, we were kind of confident that we'll start getting to the root cause. So if you see this is from our CDN provider, the Cloudflare. On a normal day, if you see the orange bars, it's normally around 3.94 to 4.2 billion requests, right? If you see around this area, it's pretty much that. But what happened is the huge spike, if you see from the 10 billion to 20 billion, is where I would say the rampage happened. Then next step, what happened? We went back. So what we found is the root cause. The tools being used by partners were pulling massive amounts of data, and also there were repeated pull of complete data without any filters. So what does that mean, right? So there's something called API request pile on pile, and you can also implement exponential backoff. So API request pile on pile is something where the service you keep hitting, the client is programmed to retry the failed request again and again and again. And then this can overwhelm the system and then potentially cause cascading failures, which is what we were getting into. The other is a good way of doing it is the exponential backoff. If few of our clients implemented, which was great, but if did not implement, that was where it was causing the problem. So that is a strategy to handle the request retries gracefully and after a certain period of time. So what we found is a bunch of buggy tools, and then we had reports across all customers in all formats and all filters being downloaded every 3 hours. At this point, the decision which even our CTO wanted to kind of decide is, should we really provide the APIs to be exposed to the outside world? And probably we wanted to cut it off. So yeah, the next step, we went back to implementing rate limiting, queuing to handle these cases. The system slowly got back to normal. We had the schedulers which were backed up because if you had released all these things back into this one, we didn't want more and more data to come and again pile up, which could worsen the behavior. And then this is something which we will be implementing it very stringently. The month of Jan, 429 means wait before retrying. So what it means is if there are too many requests, we expect the API to temporarily pause sending request, and you will have to check for the response headers to see how many seconds you have to wait before trying. So these are the guardrails. We will shortly message to our partners who are using our APIs extensively so that you can implement it. And hopefully by Jan, if you get it fixed, it'll be good. Otherwise, we'll start cutting off the API request. So this was the root cause, and this is what transpired in the last 10 days, which was very tough on the team, and I know very tough on the partners. But overall today, as of today, I would say when we kind of looked at the tickets around 7 a.m. EST, the portal slowness, pretty much we are monitoring. I think monitoring the DB queries very closely. We have scaled the infra, extremely heavy DB optimizations done in the last 10 days. So we are hopeful that we are in a better shape today. The agent online and offline was resolved yesterday. There was a queue backlog, which has been cleared as of December 11th, 7 a.m. EST. With respect to the scan schedules, we resolved it last night. But definitely we are going to put an agent robustness fix, which is in progress. That should be out very soon in the next 24 hours. So this is what we went through. And as I said, we worked very closely with the CTO, how to kind of ensure we did not create a full-blown downtime, but at the same time, with a phased approach, we try to recover from the situation. It was an extremely tough 10 days for the engineers and the team. And I'm sure our partners did have a little bit of suffering, but we are very sorry for that. But in all transparency, wanted to present this RCA today. Okay. Quickly, other things. This is, as I said, Ryan works with our team, and he always, he's the first one to pick what partners love and puts it on our team. So he was the one who asked, let's give this asset risk score as a tooltip. And that's something which we have done. It's now in production. Again, how the risk score, max risk score is calculated, very clear now on the user interface, which has been done and released in production. And yeah, the one thing, the Office 365 took a bit of a delay because, we were kind of bogged down with these issues, but definitely we are testing it, and pretty much we should be releasing soon. So I will have Shrikant decide on the date, but yeah, we are there almost. Yeah, so we should be able to download the reports, M365. We will start giving the beta partners access very soon. So yeah, this is what I wanted to cover today. Shrikant or Peter, if you wanted to go over any other topics, happy to.
I think thanks, Vidya. I think the only other thing that I want to quickly keep an eye on chat. Wendell, if you're still to support, we will look at it. Most other, I believe most other people, some of the issues relating to performance have certainly been fixed. But in your case, certainly we'll, have a separate one-to-one call or session with you to help you fix your graphs and other information issues that you're facing. Thanks. Any other questions anybody has? Like I said, we did go through a rough, a week, 10 days, but fortunately the root cause has been identified and the fixes have been already applied for most part. And things will certainly get better from there on. And you're also adding more guardrails to make sure that these kind of incidents don't repeat again. So I think that's pretty much where we are on that. Gabriel, will the API still be available to pull agent data? The answer is yes. I think what we're looking at is, and Vidya, please feel free to chime in. I think the idea is to, see whether we can put some filters so that the same situation that people, running specific rules which pull a ton of data out without any filters is one of the reasons this whole incident happened. So we'd like to kind of make sure that doesn't happen again. So I think that's where we're heading. Not to say that you won't have access to any data or the APIs there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's more of putting guardrails on how the APIs should be used. And we will ensure proper communication before making any changes.
Yeah, point taken, Chris. I know there's, API access will continue to remain, and we'll just put rate limiting and some additional guardrails around that to, make sure that this kind of situation doesn't recur. But certainly the idea is not to pull off the API access at all. So rest assured there. And there is, to Vidya's point, yeah, there is a slight delay in the Microsoft 365 piece, but again, very soon, as in once we get the QA team clearing of the module, we will certainly reach out to all the beta partners who requested access, and you will get further instructions on email on how to enable that in your instance. So, Venkat, to your question, I just double checked. Yeah, we can for Windows 7 and Windows 2008. While you can't install the agent on them, you can certainly through the probe, recognize that. So we'll, you know, and I believe we can also install the agent on that. We will reach out to you separately for helping you with that particular issue. Perfect. Thanks, Vendor. Anybody else? Any other questions on for some of the stuff that Vidya shared today? Happy to go with that. All right. If there is nothing else, as always, we appreciate all the questions that and we'll reach out on the Microsoft 365 soon, and hopefully the next call we'll share details on how to get access to your Microsoft 365 beta. So with that, we will. Oh, I'm sorry, there are a couple of questions that have come. Okay. Thanks, Janice. A couple of questions, Chris, Stephen. I will. see if Ryan or anybody else have answers to that.
Hey, Stephen. Yeah, that's no problem. Pods are automatically selected when you spin up an instance with us. Uh, but there's nothing to worry about as far as if you're not in a pod geographically close to where you're physically sitting. Should be no issues there. So don't see any issues there.
Yeah, and specifically if you're looking for compliance for your clients like GDPR or something, you might want to put it in the correct region, like EU or the Europe region.
Yeah, great point, Vidya. If any of the partners here have, compliance regulations or reasons to have their pod in a specific region, and it's not, you could reach out to our team, and I'm certain we could assist something as far as moving that if it's required. And Shri, I think that was the last question from the chat. So, yeah, Vidya as well. Thanks for transparency on the root cause. I think all the partners are anxious to know what happened there. So it's really great that we're sharing that with everybody. It's a great job by the engineering teams keeping everybody sane here. So thanks to all the partners for your patience as well. Appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks everyone, and we'll be in touch regarding the Microsoft expertise too. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Bye bye.